Amazing episode of the Phone Booth here on TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin.
Hello. Oops.
How's everybody doing today, gentlemen?
Immediately. Good, I guess. Though maybe our listeners aren't.
We're doing fine. Everyone that's watching, sorry for that. I might have hurt your ears, but
We're doing fine. We hope you all out there are doing fantastic. Now, for those of you who might be first-time viewers or listeners to the show, the Phone Booth is completely dedicated to the world of pop culture. Anything from movies to video games to TV shows to comic books, you name it, and we do our very best to cover it. My name is Edward Heitman. Joining me in the studio, as always, are my good friends and co-hosts, Brian Rodriguez.
Hello.
And Parker Spurlin.
yes.
And we're going to have a pretty good episode going on today. I'm real excited about it. I always enjoy coming into the studio with you guys. It's kind of like my break from the usual daily things, you know?
It's
So,
a
like,
thing
yeah.
from the thing that we do.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
So let's get into it. Starting off with something pretty big.
Yep.
Disney Plus. We did
Nice.
We did that. We didn't even plan that.
Didn't
I'm
even
actually
plan
kind of
it.
excited for that. That's a whole new stepping stone.
Whole
We're
new
gonna-
stepping stone.
That is
we're
the high
elevated.
point of this episode.
All right,
point.
hang on. I'm woke. All right, like I'm feeling like we're woke
Yo,
now. So
yes.
like we're woke.
Anyways,
We're woke. Like
Brian.
I'm gonna hang on before we go. I'm gonna T-pose him real quick because to show him to
Hey,
show
that
how
ain't fair,
woke I am.
Parker. Our listeners won't be able to know what you're doing.
Oh, T-posing.
Anyways, Brian, fill us in on everything that's been going on with Disney's latest streaming service.
So Disney Plus launched on Tuesday, and it was a mixed bag. Not all bad, but definitely not the A+ you want it to be. So one of the main complaints was that there were only two original properties at launch. There was the first episode of The Mandalorian, which is fantastic, and hopefully I'll have a review of tomorrow, and the live-action remake of Lady and the Tramp, which is less racist, I've heard, so that's good.
That's always good.
Wait, I'm sorry. Okay, before I sound really bad, I didn't watch the original Lady and the Tramp. Please.
So you're not familiar with the two Siamese cats?
Oh yeah, that's a no-no.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
problem with the Aristocats. They actually did the same form of racism twice.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Well, what time? This was made in like what the
50s, 60s?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Anyways, though.
Wait, before we go on.
Okay. Yo, what's up?
Wait. In the Mandalorian, you know that thing they do. You know,
Mhm.
do they do the pew pew?
They do the pew pew.
Okay, they do.
Yes.
You can't have Star Wars without the pew pew.
Mm-hmm.
What are we gonna do? Bang bang? That don't work.
That just don't
Yeah.
work. We do pew pew here.
Anyways, I'd like to kind of address that first complaint, though. I mean, honestly, Disney Plus. Most people are already getting Disney Plus because it has like almost everything Disney has ever done put onto that streaming service, which is a considerable amount of content to watch. I find it kind of odd that people's complaint is that there's not as much extra stuff piled on top of that, you know?
Yeah, I think with the amount they've announced will be coming to Disney Plus, the disparity between what was actually there at launch was kind of staggering.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like maybe if they delayed it a few months, it would have had more original content at launch, and maybe it wouldn't have been quite as glaring. It
Yeah.
just feels like it was rushed out. Which,
True.
What are we talking about?
Disney Plus.
Oh yeah,
Disney
that's right.
Plus.
Another issue was The Simpsons. Now, all 30 or so seasons of The Simpsons are available to stream on Disney Plus, minus the Michael Jackson episode, because that's been pulled from reruns.
Yes.
However, there is an issue in that Disney messed with the aspect ratio. Now, the original Simpsons seasons were animated and made in 4.3 ratio, while current day TVs are 16:9 ratio, which...
Nowadays, they are fit for widescreens. Back in the day, more so for like letterbox.
Yeah, it's the difference between like a square picture you get on most monitors now, or the monitors we have here anyway, and the widescreen TV. So in order to make them fit, what the people at Disney Plus did was they essentially stretched the video so it would fill to both sides of the screen. However, this means the bottom and the top of each episode gets chopped off, which actually ruins quite a few visual gags.
Yeah, if you're not an avid viewer of The Simpsons, I would be slightly surprised, but also not surprised at the same time. You would know that The Simpsons relies well, it does have its main jokes in the plotline, but also relies heavily on background humor, various signs, sight gags, things like that. So people didn't realize how many jokes were cut off before this happened. A common one that everyone refers to is involving Duff beer.
Yes.
Duff man.
I don't remember which episode, but there's a sight gag where it turns out that the 3 different brands of Duff beer are all just the same beer with different packaging, and they illustrate that by it being one pipe feeding into 3 different breweries.
Duff beer, Duff light, Duff dry, all the same thing.
Yep. And of course, because of this, the top of that joke gets cut off, so it just looks like there's 3 pipes, and then it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing. It's just beer being piped in. There's no joke there. Now, third issue is something a little outside of Disney's control, not completely, but it's some of the movies that are missing due to existing streaming agreements.
Okay. Oh, we have a brief interruption here. What's going on?
I'm ignoring that. Movies such as Star Wars.
Fine, deny my love, Brian. Deny it.
I will.
Please.
The Last Jedi and Solo, a Star Wars story, among a few other Marvel movies, I believe, are not on Disney Plus because they are currently on Netflix. Now, this is the nature of the business. Disney signed a bunch of movies over for a certain period to Netflix. It, again, feels like if they just delayed this a few months, maybe they wouldn't be having this issue at launch. Mm-hmm. Also, other films, like The Sorcerer's Apprentice, for all 4 people that still want to watch that movie.
Was that the one with Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
Rage in the Cage.
Rage in the Cage.
Yes.
Rage.
Yes.
I need you. Brian, I need you to make a movie with me. Nick Cage. We'll call it Bry Cage. Or
Now-
Vicarious Cageus. You
Since
devil.
you're on, now let's segue here. Nicolas Cage, Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man, Disney Plus.
That was great. We could do another one of those. Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, multiple Spider-Men, Spider-Men. All right, bunch of those guys. We need them. Where are they at? Who knows?
Not Disney Plus.
Not
Yes.
Disney Plus.
It has been announced that the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies will not be on Disney Plus, and that there are no plans to currently have them on Disney Plus.
They took away my boo.
Yeah, this is because the streaming rights, despite them being Marvel movies, the streaming rights for them are with Sony because of the eternally complicated situation that I understand less and less each day between Disney and Sony.
Yeah, people have had a lot of questions about Spider-Man regarding Disney Plus. One of the things that people are concerned about are Spider-Man's various TV shows, like Spectacular Spider-Man and whatnot.
Now, those are on Disney Plus because the TV rights to Spider-Man lie with Marvel. Mm-hmm. However, the movie rights lie with Sony. Mm-hmm. And that's where it gets complicated and dumb, and I'm just going to move on because it makes me angry thinking about it.
Well, the serendipitous of the conjugal of that is very much so that we, as Tommy H fans, are deprived of our Tommy H-ness, and therefore we cannot fully encounter nor maneuver around the Tommy H, which is...
Belay those phonetics. Let's get to the next point.
Yeah, so the last point we have here is about Gravity Falls. Now, Gravity Falls was a Disney Channel series that was essentially Twin Peaks for kids. It was awesome, it was well done, had a pretty good ending, and now it's on Disney Plus with one really weird change.
Really weird.
One of the characters, Stan Pine, in the show always wears a red fez with a fish that looks like it's eating the dot, and kind of like Pac-Man. That fish with the dot has been removed. Not the fez entirely, just the image on the fez from Disney Plus rebroadcast.
Wow.
Not only that,
Yeah.
but it is actually still in the thumbnail, so they only removed it from the episodes. The show's creator, Alex Hirsch, has confirmed that this is not some sort of weird post-show ARG thing he's been doing, because he does a lot of those, because he just really likes messing with people. Mm. He has no idea why this is, and he actually sounds fairly angry about it. Disney has not commented on this really, really weird alteration. I honestly don't get it.
I would like to know why they decided to change that small little detail. Like what is there? What kind of possible misinterpretation could there be that it would lead to that?
My best guess is that maybe it looks too similar to Pac-Man, and I think it's Namco asked them to remove it. But then again, this show, the show's been on the air for 7 years now with no issue. It's already been streaming on Hulu.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, we're going to keep going on while he goes to... I don't know. It's hard to imagine what he does.
Anyways, let's talk about Google Stadia.
The next big streaming
Okay,
platform.
spooky dookies, I'm back. Let's go.
This brought Parker back in because this is the topic that Brian and Parker were in a good amount of conversation about.
Yes. So Stadia, Google's new game streaming platform, is launching on Monday. And to promote it, Google revealed the launch lineup and features that Stadia will have at launch. And it looks pretty bad.
Horrible.
Pretty bad.
As an avid is a consoleer, I think is a term I'm just now going to coin.
A connoisseur.
A consoleer.
Okay.
So someone who's a connoisseur of the consoles.
Yes.
So a consoleer.
Those are certainly words you made.
But anyways,
No, but what I was going to say before I went on to that.
Okay.
Before I actually had a point to this rant this time.
Okay.
Do you?
I do, which is that I just forgot. No, I got it now. You took me off the A train here. All right, so here's what happened. Okay, so as a consoleer, the one thing is that this, as a not even just as a console, but as a gaming system now, because we can't even call it a console since it has no hardware. It just is. The server is. So if you don't,
as a controller,
yeah, it's the cloud. You play the cloud. Okay, like this is some James Bond stuff.
Yeah,
and so as but someone who's invested in the consoles, I own a few.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the worst way to do it so far, as what I've conceived. Because, well, for you that don't know, it eats through your bandwidth like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going through if you want to play at the highest resolution of gaming, which is 4K, you have to have a band. It takes up a bandwidth of 15 gigs per hour is what it is. Which
is an insane amount, and well, I think someone said that with a 1 terabyte data cap, which is really high end plan, that
you go through it within if you play it for 22 hours a week. If you play it for 22 hours a week, you're gonna be done by the month.
Yep.
Yeah, which is not that much if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
And that's if you only game during that. That's not even if you say watch Netflix. Or
and then that's
do anything else with the
even
internet.
shorter.
That's basically 3 hours a day.
Yep.
So have fun with that little.
Yes, have fun. You only using your internet 3 hours a day at like most or least.
But let's talk about some of the games that are going to come out.
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the games. Okay, I want to preface this with the games themselves aren't bad. There are actually a lot of really good games on this list.
It's more AAA gaming, that's for sure.
Yes, let's see. Some of the games included are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Red Dead Redemption 2, the Destiny 2 collection, which is all the DLC, the recent Tomb Raider trilogy, and the Stadia exclusive Guilt, among many others that didn't really feel like they were that important. Now, these are, again, good games and pretty well-made games. The problem is, all of them, except for Guilt and Mortal Kombat 11, which is also going to be on it, are a year or more old. And that's...
Basically, they're trying to catch up.
Yes, and especially since games like Borderlands 3, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and many others have been announced as they will be on Stadia at some point.
Honestly, I can't blame Stadia for trying to catch up with everybody. I mean, it's not like Google dabbles in video games that often.
Yeah, but the problem is, again, it's only 12 at launch, and only one is included in the Stadia Pro subscription. That's Destiny 2 collection. The rest of them, you'll have to buy for full price.
Oh, well, then, yeah, that's a setback.
Money.
Yes.
Money. Google, sorry, if you didn't know, Google likes money. Google wants
Well,
money.
mean, all businesses like money.
Right, but they want money.
Yeah.
And they were just trying to capitalize. It's really just trying to capitalize on the gaming sensation is what Google's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They're like, oh, we've hit every single corner of the market we could possibly get. What else is there? And they're like, well, we can mess up gaming. And we're like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
And that's what happened.
Makes sense.
Sorry, if you didn't know, I'm not a big fan of Stadia. They almost tricked me out of money. Almost.
Well, it's a good thing you did it, because it was also revealed what features would, or more importantly, wouldn't be on Stadia at launch. Now, we do not have a full list here, because it's very long, but some things that won't be there at launch are 4K HDR 5.1 surround sound gaming on PC, which was a big selling point, is being able to stream in that high quality, high audio.
That sweet, sweet high quality.
Yeah. family accounts that can share games. So, like, if you have an account, at launch you won't be able to bind it to, say, your kid's account, so you can share the game. That will be included, I believe they said early 2020, and we don't know if games you buy before that will be carried over to that, or if you'll have to rebuy them. I don't have high hopes that you won't have to rebuy them. Let's see, there's also support for Chromecast, which are the little, Google dongles
Those,
you can...
the things that you can just plug into things and like, ooh, look at that, it's a picture on the screen. Like that.
The only Chromecasts that will work with Stadia at launch are the ones that come in the Stadia Founders Bundle, which is where if you paid like $200, you got like a year of Stadia and a controller and the little dongle and some buddy passes.
Oh, here's the other thing though. You can't on the Google, you can't. Words don't flow very well when I talk. If you haven't noticed,
it's typical when something frustrates us.
So one of the things is that you can't use your old Google Chromecast.
Right.
You have to use you have to buy the new one.
They've said that there will be an update for existing Chromecast later down the road.
So some people have access. Some people got the Stadia, and they're just gonna have to wait a second.
Yeah. So speaking of those buddy passes, which is you give them to a friend and they get 3 months of the Stadia Pro for free, so you can play with your friends. Those will not be coming with the founder bundles at launch either. We did get something of a date for their release. They should be around 2 weeks after Stadia launches. You should be getting them, provided nothing screws up. Which,
Okay, look, call me old school, which you definitely can. Whatever happened, I just remember when I was a kid. Right? You get Halo 3, all right. You get it. You put it in the console. You put it in the Xbox, right? You put it in that
360, right? Of course.
It's 360. Yeah. You could do it on the Xbox original. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
But not for Halo 3. It wouldn't work on that. Anyways.
You play on the Xbox One and 360. But that's the only cross-platform you get.
Cross-platform. Anyway, I actually had a point to this.
We were talking.
And, the thing is that you put it in, all right, and you close the tray. You close it, and guess what it would do?
What would it do?
It would play.
It would play.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's not how games work anymore.
Where's
Where's the $20 fee?
Where's $20? Where's the hour download time?
Oh, hour. That's adorably short.
2 hours. 2 hours. And what?
I've had games that have had 8-hour downloads.
Is your Wi-Fi okay?
My Wi-Fi is actually pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't forget 76's launch download time. Come on.
Kerfuffle.
The kerfuffle.
Yes. But the thing is, and then I bought the Xbox One. Well, actually, I got it for Christmas. My junior year, I was all excited. I was like, yeah. I remember this. Okay, I actually remember this. This is really funny. I remember, they gave me the Xbox One, and I was and I got Assassin's Creed Unity.
Oh my!
Yeah, and I got the expansion. I got the deluxe edition. And so, but that's not even that. I couldn't even get to that point. So I bought it, I set it up. I set up the Xbox One. And it's all good and stuff. And next thing you know, I'm downloading it. I'm downloading it. And I'm like, yeah. And it took we couldn't even get the Xbox Live to get set up actually before that because apparently that year everybody got an Xbox One for Christmas, and it just went like the whole network was just like.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And it was just like like the bandwidth must have been just hammered, and so the servers were just backed up, and so it took forever to download.
I think that was also the year they got DDoSed.
Yes. And so that was and I didn't think that one didn't work until I got it all set up 10 o'clock Christmas morning. It did not work until 6 o'clock that night. Yeah. It was fantastic. It's groovy. I loved it. I didn't not like it. It was so great. I had such a fun time. It was great. It was great.
It was fantastic.
So other features missing from Stadia are the ability to buy games on PC. You'll have to use your phone to buy games if you want to play them anywhere. They have not given any timeline for being able to buy games on PC, and we're not even sure if you will be able to buy them on a non-Pixel phone. So if you say want Stadia and want to buy games but don't have a Pixel if you have an Android, you may just not be able to buy games on Stadia. We don't know.
Gosh.
Pay me money.
And so many other tiny flaws. And this entire thing just makes... You know, at first when Stadia was announced, I got caught up in the hype. I thought it might have been good. But as you know, the bandwidth issues came out. And the fact that Google apparently was hoping ISPs would act in the best interest of their customers. Like they don't know this is America or something.
This is America.
By the way,
that's
if you're
down in my area.
if anyone's watching from not America, A, kind of confused, but cool, thanks. And B, the internet here is awful.
It's imagine trying to win the Indy 500 with a llama.
Yes. Well, the people in the owner's box are throwing things at you.
Yes. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. So Google Stadia probably not going to set the world on fire. Might itself catch fire.
The servers might.
Yeah.
Which should be fine with me. You just let it go. Just go away. I don't know why okay, look, I understand that gaming is looking for the next step and totally extreme. I really gotta stop doing the 90s extreme thing. But the thing is it's not the server thing I don't think it's gonna catch on. I could be dead wrong. I could just be, but I don't think the technology is quite there yet. But I don't think it's because you have to compress all that information and then expand it back out, which is really hard to do. And even with fiber optic cables, not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And we just don't have that technology yet. I don't think that's the way to go about it.
We do not have the technology or the infrastructure to support this.
No. So that's why I think it's gonna kind of hit the way of the fad. Kind of like Betamax.
Yeah.
And
Right.
And VHS tapes.
Now, Google Stadia might be a failure, but let's move on to something that was absolutely a failure.
Oh boy, I'm excited to talk about this one.
Now,
my high school career, my high school basketball career.
You don't get to do that because everyone has a bad high school career.
Yes.
Let's talk about Anthem.
Anthem, one of the 3 games we always talk about. Between that, Fallout 76, and... Actually, it's really just the 2 of them. I thought there was a 3rd.
16 times the mess up.
The only other game we talk about constantly is Fortnite, but that's not so much like a total screw up, but just a series of bumps in the road.
Yes.
You said the word.
No, he
No,
didn't.
I didn't.
He said You don't know the trigger for it. Calm down.
Ha!
No, you calm down.
You think I would just let the trigger slip?
Let it slip. Please let it slip. I need to see it.
Anyways, a lot of people kind of just accepted the fact that we all thought the Anthem was just done for.
I mean, I'm guilty of that.
Too many nails in the coffin.
Too many nails, not enough coffins.
I have many times on the show declared it dead, but apparently I may need to eat some crow, because according to Kotaku's Jason Schreier, who's well known for his exposés on various game developers, including earlier this year a report on the development of Anthem and how big of a cluster that was, recently released a report saying that BioWare and EA are working on a relaunch for Anthem. Now, it's being called Anthem Next, Anthem 2.0, whatever you want to call it. Now, we don't know all the details. Even Schreier himself said that within BioWare, the details are nebulous, but it's going to seemingly include...
I think you meant nebula.
It's going to include reworks of pretty much every system in Anthem, from the loot to mission structure to even the idea of segmenting the open world, taking it from one open world to a bunch of open world segments separated by loading screens.
Like my Ford Chevy Nova, this is going to burst into flames.
Yes,
Gosh, that what they're referring to it. When I hear Anthem 2.0 and that they're doing that they're trying to rework everything. I get a lot of Destiny vibes when I hear about that, because when they were working on Destiny 2, they were taking Destiny and trying to improve as much as they can.
Yeah, Schreier has said that internally it's being thought of as the Taken King expansion to Destiny, which is what is widely viewed as fixing Destiny 1.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got Forsaken that did the same thing for Destiny 2. I'm very nervous about Destiny 3. That's not the point here.
Wait, is Destiny 2 a sequel?
Yes.
I thought it was like
some people kind of consider it an expansion.
That's what I was
it's
thinking.
a sequel.
It's a sequel.
Yeah.
It's a game I don't play either way, so
you would enjoy it, I think.
Hey, if you ever start playing it on Xbox, let me know.
My tag. I'll give you my tag. Ernest Killer 68. Really is my tag. If you
We
want.
got to get back over to this topic here.
Yeah, in a follow-up, IGN stated that according to their sources, other EA studios are assisting with the relaunch, which includes the developers behind Plants vs. Zombies and the UFC games, contributing art assets for environmental art, which is kind of odd because pretty much every EA developer has their own internal art team, so it's possibly commenting on how large of a relaunch this is going to be that they need to actually farm out some of their artwork.
That's a possibility.
So it's going to be a huge project. Is what I don't know why my voice cracked there, but it's going to be a huge project.
Yeah. Now, you should go read Schreier's article because he also has some insights on other things going on at BioWare, potential new entries in long-dormant franchises.
Yes!
But we want to encourage people to go read the original source.
One of the things that he talked about when it came to games being in development right now, it's rumored that another Mass Effect game is in, quote, very early stages of development. And that's the only information that we have so far about this, but I'm kind of surprised. Well, not as surprised, because we did recently have N7 Day with Mass Effect content coming to Anthem. But Mass Effect was kind of brought up while they were talking about Anthem. They also brought up the next Dragon Age that's coming out, and they brought up Mass Effect.
It was the Ghost. They did it.
Now, how exactly that game will fit in, I don't know. I honestly don't think another Mass Effect game is even needed, because
It's really not.
Andromeda was trying to branch off the Commander Shepard storyline, and a lot of people said that didn't really work out too well, and we can't follow Commander Shepard anymore because Mass Effect 3 wrapped up any hopes that we have of following it, unless they decide to do it to where they further press on the fact that our final choice had no impact whatsoever.
Yep.
But it's the same mentality of why did they feel the need to include an N7, but it's a Mass Effect ride at what's it called? It was the place in Great America. That's what it is.
Really?
Great America.
I did not know that.
They did, and it's in the style of like the Disney rides. You know, the 4D thing or whatever they call it.
The digital things. Yeah.
And it's like ooh, it rattles your seat. You go ooh.
That's cool.
And it's like, oh, look at this space monster. It's gonna sneeze on you, and they release the mist, and it smells bad, and you smell like the mist the whole day, and you're like,
Well, that's not what I expect.
I didn't expect it either, but that's what happened. So why did they have it? I don't know. Money. I like money.
Yeah. I don't know what any of that was, but there's also another person who, when he speaks, I have no idea what he means, but I want to listen to, and that's Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jurassic Park.
Jeff
thing.
Goldblum. He is my savior.
Well known for his iconic role in the movie Hotel Artemis.
You know what I'm saying?
He was in there.
He's in Transylvania 3000.
Hotel Transylvania?
No, it's a different one.
Dracula 3000?
Is it Dracula 3000?
There's a movie called
There is a Dracula 3000.
I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Or
Was it
not.
made in the 80s?
I haven't watched the movie
It was
myself.
one of these.
So.
It was named something 5000. It was a good Transylvania 5000.
You keep changing the number. You've gone from 1 to 2 to 5,000.
You went from 1 to 2 to 3,000 to 5,000.
It was a factor of 1,000. So which one of these ones? But anyway, he was in that movie. It was a good 80s movie.
50,000 AD.
You do that again, and my brain's gonna explode.
Goldblum 2099.
Please stop. My brain can only handle so many numbers.
Okay.
But he also played in The Fly, which is my favorite.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
No.
Anyways, back to Jeff Goldblum.
He's been doing press for Disney Plus because he has some series from National Geographic on there. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to watch all of it. But during one of these interviews, Goldblum revealed that Robert Downey Jr. is returning as Tony Stark with one very important caveat.
Oh.
The caveat is that he will be replacing his role in the What If series coming to Disney Plus.
Now, the What If series, in case you're unfamiliar with that, is a show that is inspired by the Marvel comic line What If, where it just showed random what if scenarios that take place in the Marvel universe. Like, what if Spider-Man became the Silver Surfer? What if the Hulk was the only person on Earth? Things like that. And it was rumored that we would get some stories that involved the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
What if me and Brian got married?
I mean, that's a what if I would read.
Yes,
But anyways,
it's definitely not happening in main continuity.
well, yeah.
Well, you say that
No.
now, but then we're gonna get a special edition.
I feel like this is the right amount of fan service for people. There are some people that still want to see Robert Downey Jr. come back as Tony Stark, but they also accept the fact that he can't just come back all of a sudden after the events of Avengers Endgame. So I
Yeah.
think bringing him back in for a what-if scenario, it works. We get to see him again, but it's also not messing up the continuity of the main MCU timeline.
Yeah, it's so what if it's going to be an animated series, and it's been confirmed that a bunch of the main actors will be reprising their role. Chris Evans, Haley Atwell, Jeremy Renner, Scarlett Johansson, I believe.
Stephen King.
It'd be kind of odd if none of them reprised their roles in What If, seeing as it's a huge opportunity, and a lot of the Disney Plus shows are involving actors from the MCU.
The question is Guy Pearce gonna return?
Yes, I believe they have said he will actually be returning. Of course,
Guy
you
Pearce,
say this is a huge
I love you.
opportunity. It's Robert Downey Jr. He probably has enough money that he could set islands on fire.
True, but I mean,
Or he could go to Fire Island.
you set yourself up for that one. But
I did.
I made it funny.
anyways, moving on.
Okay, so here is some comic book TV news that isn't about the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
don't know Arrow, personally.
Well, it just wrapped filming on its final season, so you don't really need to worry about it.
Can you put
Kind of a finale because it's gonna spin off
right there,
into
thank
another
you.
thing.
Anyway, how are we talking about the Arrowverse already? Talk about this. Talk about what this is, Ed, before we get
Yes.
stuck deeper.
Yes. Comic book creator Frank Miller has signed a deal with Legendary Television to adapt the comic book series Sin City into a television series. Miller's Sin City anthologies have previously been adapted into two films, Sin City and Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. I enjoyed the first one, but I did not enjoy the second one. No network has picked the show up, though given that Miller wants the show to be a hard R, streaming seems to be like the best option.
Yep.
This is something that I can expect to see on like Stars or HBO, the channels that really allow like the hard R stuff to go down.
Yeah.
Because Sin City is far from anything.
Bloody.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a hard R, even with the movies.
Is it like
you can't-
Frank Miller racist?
Yeah, I don't think there's much of his racism in this one, but it's
Yeah,
it's dark, it's mean, it's gory, it's
very gritty,
Yeah.
very gritty. Like if you wanted something to read that gives you the idea of what an old school noir detective's mind probably was in the old movies, this is probably it.
yes,
Yeah.
it's very edgy.
Yeah.
I'd say with
Now-
all the connotations that come with.
Wait,
that
are we
word.
talking like high school, like edgelord, like?
Kinda.
Ooh,
High school edgelord meets Rockstar's LA noir kind of thing.
that leaves a somber taste in my mouth.
It
How-
does.
Now, as much as that does leave a somber taste in all of our mouths, should this be a television series? Yes.
Yes, I think because again, it's a pseudo anthology. It's a bunch of stories that
No.
do connect, but
Hmm.
I think it could work well as a TV series. It's also rumored that Robert Rodriguez, who directed parts of the first two Sin City movies, will be returning too.
Which would be awesome.
And Spy Kids.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and
We
Spy
all
Kids.
forget about Spy Kids, but he did work on that one.
I've never forgotten about Spy Kids, nor have I forgotten about Shark Boy and Lava Girl. though
Let's
everyone
never
else seems
forget
to.
that.
I remember that George Lopez was in that one.
Yes.
That was something.
I
Danny
remember
Trejo
watching.
was in it,
He was in that, wasn't
and then
he?
it spun off into the R-rated Machete movies,
Oh, yeah, that's
which
right.
is like the weirdest. Like you take Spy Kids,
Right
and
off
then
the
you
cliff.
get Machete.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo.
But like
Yeah.
Sin City, it's something that belongs to be as a television series.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where there's so many stories that all take place in the main thing. There's no main character in the Sin City timeline.
Which is also, I mean, I would agree with that, because Watchmen's like that too.
Mhm.
But the thing is that's funny. The thing that I'm like having doubts about is how many gritty TV shows can we have?
Well, I mean, how many old school detective shows taking place in a down and dirty LA area do we already have?
Not very many. Not very
It
many.
feels like we have a lot. At least in the film industry we have a lot of it. Television, not so much. But
I can't think of like.
I mean, so many people are used to it. I don't see why not having just one more added to it.
Yeah, I don't mind as long as they don't let Frank Miller direct any of it again.
Don't.
Right,
Don't. That's
yeah.
I'm gonna say that's a
A
big
Dame
no-no.
to Kill For was just, in my opinion, it was just a big no-no. I didn't care much for it. The first one was definitely good. I do hope the TV series is more like the first Sin City that came out. And if it is, I'm definitely going to be very excited for it. And I cannot wait for it to premiere once we finally get information on when it does premiere.
You're doing the method of elimination, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Anyways, in the world of superheroes, there are a few actors that hold roles as heroes that we have not yet gotten a glimpse of. Robert Pattinson as Batman being one of them. A couple actors we have not seen dressed up as the movie villains that they're going to star in.
I
Ewan
haven't
McGregor as
seen
Black
Robert
Mask.
Pattinson since I saw him in the midnight release of New Moon.
Now, you know who we haven't seen...
That is a true story. That's a true, honest story.
Now, you know who we haven't seen in their costume until recently? Dwayne Johnson as the role of Black Adam, the antagonist to DC's Shazam.
I don't know who Dwayne Johnson is.
We don't have time to get into that.
You would enjoy that. But anyways, let's get into this.
Dwayne Johnson was cast as Black Adam back in 2014.
Long time ago.
He was cast before Shazam was cast.
So long ago.
Before Batman was cast. The old Batman, the Ben Affleck Batman. Not even our current Batman. He has been Black Adam for 2 Batmen.
For 2 Batmen. So long that we all kind of considered this is just not a thing.
You're my Batman.
That's enough out of you.
But recently, we finally caught a glimpse.
Have we now?
Small hint, at least. Dwayne Johnson has revealed that Black Adam, the DC villain / anti-hero movie he was cast as half a decade ago, has finally received a release date. The film will be released on December 22nd, 2021.
Yes.
Now, what do you guys think about that?
No.
Finally.
About time, right?
Yes.
No.
I wonder how the Flash feels about this.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on it.
Gosh, the fact that we finally got this, though.
Does everyone not remember that?
I do. I just was ashamed of your performance of it.
That's why, exactly. That's how I felt when I watched Justice League.
You should have seen the Snyder cut. Flash would have time traveled. I'm just saying, guys.
Because that's how bad the Barry scene was. He's just like, believe it or not, I'm walking on it. I'm like, dude, run.
But man, though, the fact that we finally got Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Long time coming, but I'm glad we finally got some kind of confirmation. You know.
So in 2 years, we will see maybe a spinoff of Shazam. We don't know if it's going to be in the same continuity anymore because the DCEU has just completely collapsed in on itself like a dying star.
It's like
it's done a total
song.
flashpoint on itself that we haven't seen because that cut is missing somewhere.
It's like that song by Black Sabbath. It's going off the rails on a crazy train.
Ooh.
My man went to Iron Man.
Why would it go to Iron Man?
Because we're talking about superheroes.
Not DC.
I
mean, not Marvel. Not Marvel characters. I was saying
invalid argument.
Invalid.
Fallacy.
Okay, last bit of news. Speaking of DC shows, it's a new week and new casting announcements for Batman. He left. Matt Reeves has confirmed that Andy Serkis, famous for all the CGI characters, including Gollum, Caesar, Ulysses Claw, that was in CGI, will be playing Alfred in the Batman. While industry newcomer Jamie Lawson has been cast in an undisclosed role. Lawson has no previous Hollywood credits and recently graduated from Juilliard. So, brand new to the industry.
Brand new. This will be their breakout role.
Yeah, and considering that she was announced, sort of in the same time frame as Andy Serkis as Alfred, it makes you think that she is going to be an important role, even if it's undisclosed.
Mm-hmm. If not an important role, definitely an important side role. Because that's kind of Alfred's kind of thing. He's like, usually Alfred is like one of the most important side characters in a Batman movie.
And Batman in general,
Now,
Batman.
Andy Serkis playing Alfred. I think that's a pretty good choice.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing is, I wish that in the Batman vs Superman movie they used Jeremy Irons.
They did.
A lot more. Is what I mean. I wish they used Jeremy Irons because he was a really good pick for it.
He was.
Not to say that Michael Caine wasn't, but Jeremy Irons, man, just love that guy.
My favorite Alfred was from the Dark Knight trilogy.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
My favorite.
I mean, that's Michael Caine, and Michael Caine, well, he's just
Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a god. But, but I do like Jeremy. I think Andy Serkis, I do like Andy Serkis. I liked him in Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. Just as Claw. You know?
Yes, Ulysses Claw.
Ulysses Claw.
He's also going to be directing Venom 2.
Oh,
Andy Serkis?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be pretty awesome.
Cool. I'll see that.
So now, trailer talk.
Yes, we have reached the end of our weekly news roundup, and it's time for us to enter our next segment, Trailer Talk. I'm saving the Snyder Cut status report for tomorrow, so that's why we don't have it in today's episode.
Snyder.
In this segment, we talk about some of the latest trailers to come out and give our general input on what we thought about it.
Yes.
The first one we're going to be talking about is a very important trailer in pop culture. The second trailer to Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, the reason why this is so important right now in pop culture is that they finally showed us Sonic's redesign.
Yes, after the first...
After we bullied
Pretty much.
the producers, we were like, you are not going to do this. You will not do this to Sonic. And they're like,
Yes.
well, we don't... No.
I'll
will
point
not
out
do it.
I was understanding about it. I didn't think they were going to redesign it because it'd be insane to redesign it.
With such little time on their
contraire.
hands.
Yeah, and then they vowed to the internet. So anyway, we've got the Sonic redesign. What's actually in the trailer besides the redesign doesn't really matter. It's all stuff we've seen before.
It's the same stuff. We get a bit more context as to what the big electric explosion is. The beginning of the first trailer is just Sonic
Sonic
playing
playing-
around in a baseball, and a home run leads to an explosion.
We see lots of Jim Carrey being
Jim Carrey.
I'm dressed as Eggman, really, but it's Jim Carrey.
Yeah, yeah. But
It's
I mean,
Jim Carrey with a mustache.
but I'd like to talk about the redesign because I do admit this one looks a lot more iconic. It looks it has a much stronger resemblance to the cartoon. version.
Got a blast.
I didn't want to throw up when I saw it.
Yeah, you know.
It does not look human. It looks like Sonic. It looks like if you saw Sonic in a video game, you think, huh, yeah, this is a pretty good 3D version of it. Not some sort of nightmarish man-hog.
Yeah, there was a particular scene that people put side by side to talk about the comparison, and it was a scene where it was Sonic and the main character who was tagging along with them in a truck with Sonic sitting, way smaller in the seat. In his old school version, it looked so weird, like a small child with fur and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then you see the redesign, and it actually looks like
Sonic.
Sonic the Hedgehog just sitting there in the seat.
The
So-
last time I remember seeing a Sonic character with a realistic human was Sonic 2006.
Let's not talk about that. Let's move quickly onward.
It's a video
Quickly
game.
The only-
onward.
the only-
Run from it.
The only,
Gotta go fast.
the
Gotta
only
go fast
thing
away
we
from
acknowledge
it.
it for
Sonic
is the
2000.
birth of Silver the Hedgehog.
Sonic
Do we even
2006.
acknowledge that? Do we really
I'm
acknowledge
gonna put
that?
it.
Yes,
I'm gonna
'cause it's a
have
psychic
memoir.
Sonic.
I'm gonna
Another
have
one
a
of the
memoir.
8 billion Sonic clones
Memoir
in that franchise.
called
Just like,
Sonic
you can't stop creating new
2006.
characters.
Yes,
Chapter
Sonic
1.
Forces made it infinite.
The game, the movie, but which is the game.
Anyways, we all need a quick clucking. Let's get back to the next trailer.
You don't tell me what to do. I am me, and you
I'm
are.
just kidding. I love you all. Anyways, let's talk about the first trailer we got.
I reject
for-
your reality and substitute my own.
Shush.
The first trailer for Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. Its release date is February 14th, 2020, starring Maggie Q, Michael Pena, Lucy Hale, and many, many others. The synopsis is that it's a horror adaptation of the popular 70s show Fantasy Island, a show about a magical island resort, and it's directed by Jeff Wadlow.
Yes.
In case you don't know what Fantasy Island is, it was basically a place where people would arrive on the island and they were able to live out their wildest fantasies.
Is that the one with I forget.
The plane?
Yeah, that's right.
The plane.
The plane.
The
Yeah.
plane is in the ocean.
That's
yes.
not racist at all.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, actually, I think they fixed it to where it was just some random lady who was saying the plane was here.
You know what
Yeah.
was even worse is the fact that they did that Looney Tunes did one of the cartoon animated movies,
Mm-hmm.
and they did the Speedy Gonzales doing the plane.
No, that's bad.
I was
Yeah.
like, that was
Anyways.
not cool.
Anyways, if you are familiar with the series Fantasy Island,
Phantom of the Opera?
that was also a good movie. I will defend that one. Anyways, if you are familiar with the old school show Fantasy Island, you might be kind of put off by this movie because this is a horror film.
why is all this stuff going horror? We had the banana splits and now this.
No, they're gonna make The Fly a comedy now.
I would watch that actually.
I wouldn't.
It's just a thing.
Or a
these
musical. The Fly
all
the
these-
musical.
All these old school shows are starting to turn into horror films.
been-
I'm expecting The Love Boat to come out and have that be a horror movie.
Love Shack coming out 2018.
Oh gosh, that'd be amazing. Oh man, but yeah, some of the examples of this is like one person on the island. She said that her fantasy was to get revenge on an old bully in her high school, and everyone kind of just chuckled at it, like, okay, it's whatever. Then she goes into an elevator, which takes her down to an actual torture chamber where the bully is strapped down. She manages to break her out and escape. Apparently, the island keeps people on it, so that way they can try and feed off of them or something. People are forced to stay on the island. There's like these beings that like chase after them and drag them down into waters and whatnot. It's really weird, but
Excuse me? Come again?
it definitely looks like an interesting film, though. I want to watch it just to see how weird it is. Because the different fantasies are so off. Like, one person said he wanted action, so he was put in the middle of an active war scene that's going, like an active battlefield that's on the island. Two people wished that they had it all, and they ended up in this huge party with all the luxury and whatnot. And I'm just tempted to see how it goes. I'm going to take that. Because you're being weird. Anyways, let's go on to the... Parker, chill out, bro. We're going to the next trailer. The SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. This is the first trailer, of course. Its U.S. release date is May 22nd, 2020, starring Tom Kenny, Keanu Reeves, Awkwafina, and many others. This is directed by Jeff Wadlow. Directed by Tim Hill, my apologies. The synopsis is that this is set before the events of the television series. SpongeBob goes on a trip to Camp Coral and meets some new friends. However, when his pet snail Gary gets kidnapped by Poseidon and taken to the lost city of Atlantic City, I like that pun actually, he and his new best friend Patrick must go on a rescue mission to save him from the dastardly plan of Poseidon before it is too late. The movie will also reveal for the first time our beloved characters as kids and how they met at camp, a magical moment that brings meaning to the power of true friendship.
Now, I don't really think we care much about this movie except for one thing.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves plays a tumbleweed. Actually, he plays a sage in the tumbleweed.
He's a sage made of sage.
Whoa.
It works out pretty well.
Yes.
And that's really it. That's really it. That's all we care about here, is that Keanu Reeves is just a head in a tumbleweed.
And it's not even like an animated face on the tumbleweed. It's a tumbleweed, and they just green screen Keanu Reeves' head into the tumbleweed.
It's a bit like that time David Hasselhoff was in the first SpongeBob movie.
David Hasselhoff.
Except he was just
I remember
the
watching
Hoff.
that, and I loved it.
When he turned into a giant boat.
Absolutely, and he's like, I'm David Hasselhoff.
He shoots them towards the Krusty Krab with his pecs.
Yeah.
You did good, Hasselhoff. You did
good.
good.
Anyway, Keanu Reeves. That is all.
Though I do admit, when I was a kid, I liked watching the first SpongeBob movie when that came out. It was a nice little adventure. And there's always been a part of me that enjoys SpongeBob ever since I was a little kid. And if anything, I would watch this because it isn't just some random adventure that's going on. It has some bit of importance to the show itself. It kind of shows what happens back in the day,
I think that's a circle.
You're a circle.
Anyways, that was about it for trailer
Did you just
talk.
assume my geometry?
I did. Okay.
Anyways, that was it for trailer talk. And while we did get to talk about some of the movies that plan on coming out at some point in time, let's talk about some of the movies that are going to be releasing sooner.
Yes, this weekend, in fact.
Ford v Ferrari. Ford versus Ferrari is a movie that's coming out.
Yes. And the long line of V's instead of verses. So Ford v Ferrari, starring Matt Damon and Christian Bale. This movie tells the story of an automotive designer and a driver tasked by the Ford company to create a car capable of beating a Ferrari.
All I'm going to say is that if it came down to a yelling match, Christian Bale's going to win.
Yes. Now, the Rotten Tomatoes score from critics is 92%, and the audience score is 99%. So it seems like everybody likes this movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a true story. The trailers seem very patriotic and whatnot. I mean, after all, this is the story of Ford versus Ferrari, which is a big moment in American history.
Yeah, of course, Christian Bale plays a British driver, so who knows? Odd bit of
Fieri.
Yeah.
patriotic dissonance.
Do you
there.
think we're going to get a Guy Fieri movie?
If we do, it'll take us to Flavor Town.
Charlie's Angels is the next movie coming up. In this sequel, I thought it was a reboot. Apparently, it is a sequel.
Wait, sequel? Wait.
It's a sequel to the previous two films, apparently.
The ones with Lucy Liu and all that?
Yeah, with Bill Murray as Bosley, but now Patrick Stewart as Bosley.
I am so glad that actually follows those movies. We had Bernie Mac as Bosley, which was just awesome, and then we had Drew Barrymore, which I always had a crush on.
I thought it was a reboot, but hey, I've been wrong before.
Apparently, the sequel. A group of highly trained women work for the mysterious Charlie Townsend to protect a systems engineer attempting to reveal a new dangerous technology.
So your basic Charlie's Angels plot.
Yeah, pretty much. The Rotten Tomato score from critics is 59%, and the audience score is 81%. Now, I've actually looked at some of the criticisms, and what they can all sort of agree on is, despite all the bad, it is a fun movie.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the thing with Charlie's Angels. I mean, even if you go back to the old school Charlie's Angels TV show, it was one of those shows that you watched for fun.
Yeah, it's a popcorn show. It's a popcorn
But
franchise.
okay, but the thing that I have a problem with that, okay,
What?
how long can we let that excuse ride?
Forever.
No.
There's always going to be those movies and shows that we have to watch for fun. We can't have everything be a deep-rooted meaning.
Not
It has to be
everything
symbolic.
has to be good.
Sometimes
things are just fun. Okay? Sometimes things are fun, but
If
they
we
don't
had-
have to be good.
If we had nothing but good movies, I wouldn't have had miserable media back when I was over at Delta College, and in turn, I wouldn't have had this show here at the Voice of San Joaquin. So we can kind of owe this show to fun movies. Yeah.
Okay. I guess.
And the last one we have is The Good Liar. Ian McKellen and Helen Mirren star in this film about an aging con man who sets his sights on a wealthy widow, only to get pulled into a much more dangerous game. Rotten Tomato score from critics is 63%, audiences is 88%.
Ian McKellen. That's one of my favorites. You know, he played in King Richard III, which was a really good adaptation of a Shakespeare play, King Richard III.
He was also an X-Man.
Yes.
Yes.
And Gandalf.
Yes.
From the Ring movie.
He did more than that, by the way. He did more than just those two series. You know, he was actually a legit actor. In the
Yes, he's a Shakespearean actor, but let's face it, most people know him as Gandalf from the Ring movie and evil Professor X from the X-Men.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, breathe, you holier than thou.
Honestly,
Much.
I can't really... Now,
holier than thou.
of course, this is going off of the trailers that I had seen. I can't really say that I'm too surprised by the critics' score. It seemed like it'd be an interesting movie to watch, but it didn't really seem like a deep, impactful kind of movie that would have a major score.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fun movies, as you can tell by Charlie's Angels, have a poor critics score.
Uh-huh.
It's fun.
Yep. But that about does it for movies that are releasing this week.
And that's about it for the show.
Yep.
Or,
You have 6 seconds.
hang on.
I'm afraid it actually is the end, because
You
since
have
we're
no
getting used to
seconds.
FM, we have to wrap up before the hour.
Yep.
Is it? Because
Yeah.
the thing is that we have two of the minutes.
Boomerang.
Boomerang me, Boomerang the show, Boomerang the cable network was actually really good, and that had all the classics on there. But unfortunately, I don't know where it is. I think
TV Set was a good movie.
and it went that way, and then like Boomerangs, it came back, but then it's gone now, and I don't know where it went. And the thing is, Star Wars, Mandalorians. It's
Get tranquilizers for him.
Mandalore. Is a Mandalorian the species, or is
Yes.
It's a species.
Yes,
species.
The Mandalorians of Mandalore.
the Well, that's redundant. Much redundant.
No, that's the planet there it came from.
Okay. But the thing is hot coffee is something that everybody should have at least once a day. Did you know that?
Amen.
It's a thing, you know, making sure things.
Anyways, be sure to tune in, ladies and gentlemen, every Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 2 here on TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin, where we cover all things pop culture related. Anything from movies
My
to
eyes
video
are
games
good.
to TV shows to comic books, you name it, and we will do our very best to cover it. Now, my name is Ed Heitman. Joining me in the studio, as always, are my good friends and co-hosts, Brian Rodriguez and Parker Spurlin.
The Birdman. Thank you very
Be
much.
sure to have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.